tried to get Largo to either take care of the problem or send them back to Clearwater.
This woman had been living with this guy at one time up on Kings Highway. She moves down to South Greenwood. He comes over to visit. They have a little foreplay by smacking her around and punching her in the and then he drives her down to the medical center in Largo. He's a nice guy, you know. She needs medical attention, but I took her down. So she wanted to prosecute, so.
Information general from the from upstairs with the chief's office that he passes down. Here are extra patrols where people have called in and said they got a problem in their neighborhood. The officers look at the sector of the zone they work and find out where some of the problem areas are in their zone. And this is one from the Detective Bureau. Special attention beach area. There's been some hotel burglaries. They have a description and the name of the subject they're looking for. Evidently, the above subject was ID'd by Leighton Prince, okay, as being the person who broke into a motel room.
One of the first areas.
Go ahead, show 9. I got second shift on the good kitchen detail. All right.
I go up through one of the areas where a lot of prostitutes hang out this morning. Sometimes they stay out, or they've been up all night, but they'll stay out this early in the morning to catch the clientele that's going to work before the prostitute goes to sleep for the day. So I go up through here to make sure that they're not out doing their business. Here it is, about 5 minutes to 8 in the morning. There are actual people that pick up prostitutes at this hour in the morning. Anyhow, they call me RoboCop, the street people, from that movie RoboCop. And I guess it was like a machine or something that anybody you come across you would arrest. Well, about 5 years ago, I was downtown walking beat, and as I started the walking beat patrol, anybody that committed an offense, I would just arrest and take to jail. There'd be no warnings. I never gave warnings, and so I got that reputation of not giving warnings. If you got caught with an open beer or open bottle of wine, you went to jail. And as you get into this job, you mellow out and you learn that you're dealing with people, and people are human beings just like you. And everybody makes mistakes. Not everybody deserves to go to jail. Only the worst deserve to go to jail. So you can write them tickets and have them tell it to the judge rather than taking them down to the jail and incarcerating them. They're usually released the next day anyhow on their own recognizance. That way, if you write them a ticket, which actually is an arrest, and they're released for a notice to appear, they pay a $30 fine. Well, most of them do neither, and in about 30 days or so, you end up with a warrant for them. So they end up going to jail anyhow. But they appreciate me likely because I give them a second chance. I talk to them like human beings, and they give me that respect in return.
I can't cash the thing.
Not here, you can't.
I bought it at this place.
But they don't cash.
Well, what do you do with it?
Go to a bank.
Go to a bank. You ever seen a bank open on Saturday, Sunday? So you buy these things, the money's no good. I'm sorry, I ain't trying to ask. I'm just pissed off. I can't.
Is that your cab there?
Yeah.
Sure.
It makes sense though. You can come here and you buy like $500 worth of money orders if you want to turn around.
I gave them $500
Okay,
cash.
listen, hold on a second. Listen to me. Listen to me. It makes sense. These places get robbed so often, they don't carry that kind of cash around. They will issue you money orders so you can go to any bank or you can have it filled out to pay your bills. When you come up and want to cash $500 or $300 money orders, these people don't have that kind of cash laying around. If they did, they'd be robbed every day.
I gave him that kind of money.
I know, and as soon as you gave them that money, it was dropped in the safe. They have no access to it. No, all they're saying is, if you want a money order, we'll give you a money order. We can't cash it here. We do not carry that large sum of money.
Sir,
Can't come on the property.
that's fine. What am I supposed to do with $500?
Banks are open till this day.
If you ain't got an account, they don't want them doing it.
Well, that's something you're going to have to set up an account. If you've got the money to go and buy money order,
I got robbed. I got robbed. I got $500 in a store.
Mr. Dyer,
But they don't give a
keep your voice down.
So what am I supposed to do with $500 out there in nowhere? I lost $500.
Banks are,
Who's looking out for me?
the banks will cash it. Well, then,
Nobody gonna take it. You know, they don't want it. It means nothing to them.
like I said, they don't cash it.
Sir, who does?
You have to set up something with the bank.
You understand what I'm talking about? Who the fuck? I paid $500 today. And I got nothing. I got no money because no one will cash it. Can't use this check. No, they won't. No. You know what they told me? I don't have a bank out there. We ain't cash it. But I didn't get nothing. I'm free to go. I gave them $500, cash money. They don't have to give me back nothing.
He came in there this morning and he purchased a $500 money order. For what reason, I do not know. I don't think he knows. He came back wanting to cash the money order. And Pickwick has a policy of selling money orders, but they don't cash them. And he got all upset because he couldn't get his $500 back. And banks are closed, and all he's got is a piece of paper, and he wants his $500. That's why he was upset. Soup Kitchen is operated by St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church. And these are all volunteers back here that you see. They're not getting paid for it. Each one of them comes in on their own. On the weekends, we get some of the youngsters from different high schools come back and volunteer their time to feed. Each day there's a different crew that comes in because it's a different set of volunteers. The food is purchased somewhat by the church, and a lot of it is donated by local restaurants and bread companies and food companies. It's brought in here. It's not used and donated to Soup Kitchen. They cook it back here, they prepare it, they serve it. There's no obligation when you eat here. You just have to be a human being. You can walk in, you sign their guest ledger, and eat to your heart's content. You can be a millionaire or not have a penny to your name.
Now we're back on the train. Back on the chain gang.
It's in that office there. They're opening it. The company is owned by Pace.
You can look through the air conditioning thing there and find it. There's no one around.
No one around? Okay.
Furniture's gone. There is.
Okay, because
Take a look.
the Jackson
What was the
State-
first Jackson? What was his name? Naomi, no?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened is we were by here yesterday, Officer Burns and I, and we did a knock and talk. Nobody answered the door. The air conditioning was on. The lights were on. Somebody's in there, but nobody answered the door because I got a tip that she was here. So evidently overnight they heard the word got out that we were around, or they knew we were looking for the girl. So they just packed up in the middle of the night and left, and they owed a month's rent too. So who knows where they went? We just keep looking around town. The reason she turned to drugs, she told me that she was married and her husband left her. And she has a child. And her husband took the child and left her. And she was so upset about that, and when she was going with another guy one time, shortly after that, she was so depressed that she decided to take a hit off of a crack cocaine pipe to see if her misery would go away. And she said, as usual, it only took one hit and she was hooked. And then she ran out of money to buy the stuff, so the only thing she could think of was prostitution. And she was a very attractive young lady when I first saw her. She's only been out here since, it'll be a year in January. And she's 5'2", pretty face, pretty blonde hair, intelligent kid, 27 years old. And now she's being supposedly held against her will and beat up so bad that she can't escape by a pimp, a drug pusher who uses the girls, sends them in the street, and they bring back their money to him, and he gives them just enough drugs to get by, and it's a vicious circle they have to keep going in order to survive. So we'll just make the rounds to see what we can find out from the local ladies working the streets, see what information they can give me. Across the street you've got a Philadelphia Phillies professional baseball team where they do their spring training, and on the other side of the street is the Greenwood Apartments.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world and the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something.
To do that
She's
thing?
missing, isn't she?
Have you seen her?
Nope. Bobby Joe's real good friends with her and says that she hasn't heard from her at all. I heard there was blood and hair found somewhere.
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, somebody's making up stories there.
Yeah.
That's
What happened to your arm?
That's when Debbie's going in a window. Scratch myself. Then Debbie's just making up stories.
What about this Ray Don? Do you know him?
Yeah.
Where does he stay at?
He's a dick. He's a Jackson. Right now,
I mean, she's still getting... You haven't seen her in how long?
haven't seen her a week.
And she was all beat up then, right?
Oh yeah, she had black eye or something. Even a couple guys when he asked me about her. Nobody's seen her. That's sick.
Okay.
And that's real odd that he hasn't been with her. And then he was disappeared for like 2 days. Nobody saw him, and now he's around. I saw him last night. And he came out of the bush. I was walking down the side there, and I saw him, and it's like, man, I don't even want to be in the dark with him because I know how he is. I mean, he will grab you, take what you got, and then whatever else he wants to do with you. He ain't nothing nice. But,
Yeah, I
you
heard-
haven't heard from her?
I heard some information that she was possibly on Spruce. Now, Spruce, you know where the convenience store is up here? Eldridge. Used to be the Pickwick, now changed over to...
Quick Check, yeah.
Yeah. If you go up the street from the Quick Check,
Make a right.
there's Garden, and the next street up behind that is Spruce, and she was staying in there.
Yeah, that's very possible. Very possible. But why is she on the street?
I don't know. I'm sure if the Jacksons got her, that they wouldn't
We
stop
ain't
it.
feeding her dope. They ain't feeding her dope, believe me, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
If she's a doper, she's got to be making the money unless he's taking her somewhere else to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he ain't nothing nice, and neither are none of those girls either. You know, they're all either slapheads or rip-offs or, you know.
Yeah.
He I could easily find out where it is, easily, where he's actually staying. That's easy. He'll invite me over. He's that much of a pig, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
All right.
Never was a cornflake girl. Thought that was a good solution, hanging with the raisin girls. She's gone to the other side, giving us the only hope.
Clearly now I'm over. I'll be back in that unit at the 500 block, correction, 600 block of Cleveland. Roger.
I said, well, sir, did you see the signs and the markings in the roadway and the sign over top of the intersection? Honest to God, officer, I can tell you I didn't see a one of them. Just as I told you.
We don't have it.
10 miles over. Your fine would be $130.25. Now suppose you have a family of 5 and you're making $5 an hour,
63.
and you get a citation for 10 over $130. Now where are you going to feed your children? Pay your rent? How are you going to do that?
Roger.
So you got to be careful with just handing out tickets right and left. You're really affecting people's lives. And a lot of people don't realize that when you do a traffic stop, a police car with its lights on and siren blaring and pulls someone over, this is a traumatic experience for them. I've had both males and females alike start to tear up. They're so nervous. But I think that traumatic experience, and plus what the officer tells them, what they did wrong, hopefully will correct the situation and try and save lives. But I'm very thoughtful and thinking about when I give out my citations because they're very expensive. And it could mean a difference of whether or not the children in the back seat are going to have a meal next week or not, or whether they're going to have Christmas presents. Ford tag Tom David Adam 79Y Yankee, TDA 79Y. It's going to be a silver-colored Cadillac, and we'll be in the parking lot of Station Square Park on Cleveland Street.
Roger, 12.
I'm not quite sure where he wants to stop. I think he's looking for like a metered parking space. There we go. He knew as soon as I turned on my lights what he had done. Stay in the car, sir. Stay in the car. So all the signs, they have flags on them. They're in the roadway, on the pavement, on the side of the road.
Thank you.
Same thing. He didn't see any of the 6 signs.
Motorcycle tag 219.
He's going to go up and come back down the street again. He said he's lived here 26 years and come this way every day and has never seen those signs. They ain't there no more.
Huh?
They ain't there no more.
What do you mean right
They moved out of the house over there.
No, not down here.
You talking down at Palm Bluff?
Yes,
Palm Bluff and Garden.
yes.
Did you get to go in there?
No, I went in between. They asked me if I can help something. I said, no, I was broke, but I want to see Tammy. See if she give me a phone, which, you know, no probably will do. And they said Tammy would be back. But I have something on Tammy. I think she'll tell me. That's good.
anything, she's in that far back right room because they wouldn't let me go nowhere near that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of
She was seen over here, huh? She was seen over here.
but they moved fast. You didn't know that?
43 taken.
That's why I kind of saying when you said Spruce, I was like,
If you see her, I need to
343.
know where she's in.
you're scaring the hell out of her.
I heard that.
43 Back.
Most of these girls, 99.9% of them, were, before they became a prostitute, a normal human being with a normal life. Most of them were married with children. Most of them had families, good jobs, decent families, and with significant backgrounds. Their families were well-to-do. And then some tragedy in their life caused the psychological breakdown that they have, and they need a crutch. They need something to get rid of the pain of what has happened to them. Usually you develop into an alcoholic. Well, you'll find that a lot of the prostitutes don't drink that much. So they go to a party or they go out with a friend or they do something that they've never done before, like take a drag or a puff off a crack cocaine pipe. And 99.9% of them that I talked to said that was that first puff that got them hooked on it. After that, they had to have it. And it's like the story I told you before. The more you want it, the more you ruin your life to get it, your job, your savings, your family. And nothing else to do except prostitute. So you've taken a decent human being and turned them into a prostitute. They're living, breathing human beings. And they deserve as much as my respect as I would give the person who pays $200,000 in taxes every year. I can't separate myself and say that one is better than the other. You take an oath to protect all the people, all the time, not some of the people all the time.
Everybody knows the dice are loaded. Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows that the war is over. Everybody knows that the good guy's lost. Everybody knows the fight is fixed. The poor stay poor and the rich get rich. That's how it goes. Everybody knows.
One's a Jeep Cherokee and a yellow car. Should be pulled into the Julie Grove. One's possible intox. Advising yellow vehicle is a Mercury Zephyr.
244 actually.
Has a car stopped or has a person stopped? It wants to find out if there's any wants or warrants on the person, whether the driver's license is any good. Any information at all that's available to a human being can be sought through here. There's a county computer, FCIC, MCI computer.
Okay, you gotta back up and route.
And here's one that he's telling us probably a possible warrant on the person who's stopped.
Need to seize his tag. I'll check his DL history to see why it's been suspended. Looks like it's gonna be for no insurance.
This is the taping system that runs a 24-hour tape that records every word that a dispatcher and an officer says. Everything 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is recorded. It's set over the radio system. So the communications center along with supervisors can go back through these tapes and pull up any incident that happened at any time at this police department over their radio. If there's a police pursuit, or a police shooting, or a robbery, anything that goes down that police is involved in, and it's talked about on the radio system is going to be taped. And this is saved. And there's like 5 or 6 drawers there that each channel is taped separately for the information. The person on the right-hand side is the East End dispatcher. They both have 2 sections of the city. The county radio there, he's listening to what's going on all over Pinellas County at the different departments. So if something happens down in Bel Air Beach that we don't know about, and it's coming our way, he's able to inform the officers on the dispatchers that it's coming our way, and our dispatchers are able to inform us. This is the holding cell. Before we go in there, I've got to put up my firearm. Come on in. When the prisoner is brought to the station to do paperwork, they're placed in one of these holding cells, which is your basic bench, bathroom facilities only. And this is where they stay until the officer completes his basic booking paperwork before the prisoner goes down to county jail. It's not a very pleasant place, but it's not overly terrible either. We usually don't keep them here any period of time, as short as period as possible. And while they're here, the officer is out here doing his paperwork, all the forms that the officer needs, and he monitors the cells where the prisoners are kept on these two closed-circuit TVs. So the prisoners are watched all the time they're here. They're never out of the sight of the police officer. Copy tag, please.
Go ahead.
Florida tag, Thomas Nancy Frank, 52R Robert, TNF 52R.
Roger.
Be a black BMW.
Copy 15.
There's an alarm here. I don't need a warrant. I'm here on alarm. You set off the alarm. Do you work here? Do you work here? We're walking back around the black area back here. Right through there.
Backside.
Yeah, just in case.
Well, we did a thorough search and we found nobody inside. We now know that someone was here previously. There's an employee who works here on Saturdays, and what happened was she left and didn't lock up. As a matter of fact, the back door to the business wasn't even locked. It was found open. So we did our search of the building. We had radio silence during that time, and we're all set. We're satisfied that it's a false call. No way. I'll be here anything.
She's had to change her part. She realized we were there for her safety. And Matt explained to her that for all I knew, someone was on the other side of that wall where the reception desk was holding a gun on it. And that's why she didn't open the door. Didn't really know. So she understood that. And that arouses suspicion. Oh, yeah. Matt's covered with briars from running around the back of the where she closed the window on him. The alarm went from a really hairy situation where the lady wouldn't come to the door. She refused to let police in, and we thought the only thing that goes through our mind is her safety.
634.
And when
I'll give you an ETA.
Matt went, the other officer, Matt went to the
Negative on
rear, there was an open window, and he looks in and sees the lady, and she starts rolling the window closed as soon as she sees the police officer, and he says, "Don't close it, Fairwater Police," and she continues. So our fears went higher that there was some danger going on there. Still, she wouldn't come to the door. Dispatch called her up, and she said no. The only thing we had in our minds was that someone was in there keeping her from going to the door. So after we got that settled, we went to the suite next door, and the door was open. A subscriber arrives and says, "Hey, I have people that sometimes come in on Saturday. Her name is Miss So-and-so." And he finds the back door unlocked. We go in, there's nobody in there. And we find this lady who comes in once in a while's purse inside her office, and her office light is on. Well, usually ladies leave someplace, they take their purse with them. This made our suspicions higher that something was going on. So finally when we did a search of the building, We got with the administrator of the business, and telephoned the lady. Everything was fine. It's just all these things that keep your adrenaline going to think that something's going to happen.
Clear 1 criminal 911.
When you're out there in the street and you get in a car with someone, is it the usual norm for people to try to hurt you?
No, it's not, but anytime you get into a car, you're risking your life.
Do you ever get in with more than one person?
No, I do not get in there with more than one person.
Have you ever been hurt?
Yes, I have.
Is it a practice for you to go back to you or any of the girls, do you find them going back to the same person even though they know they might be hurt because they need the money?
Yes, I never went back to someone that it hurt me. But even the people that you know are dangerous. If there's a lot of money, you will go back and risk. I don't go with anyone that is not business and professional. But the person that hurt me the worst was an ordinary, everyday business person.
How long have you been on the street?
About 4 months.
What keeps you here?
The money.
On an average day, how much do you make?
$500 when I'm working with my clientele.
Is it mostly nights or days or both?
Most of the people I see are by appointments.
How do they make appointments? By telephone?
No, they have regular days, times. You have beeper numbers. And in between times, when you do pick up off the street, is when you could get in the car and it'd be the last. But the person that hurt me the worst was a person I had seen at their home at least 50 times. He violently attacked me and strangled me violently.
Where at that time, was this person doing any narcotics?
Yes, he was.
What was he doing?
He was doing crack.
Do you think it was the crack that made him affected in this way?
I think, yes, I do, but I think the person, in any case, has psychological problems.
Did you know Cynthia Pugh, the girl that was killed?
Yes.
Is she a friend of yours?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I wanted to stop doing this anyway, like a month ago. And Cindy? Cindy was one that never, because of the drugs, never followed the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you get hurt. Go with, didn't matter how many guys in the car, did not trick necessarily for money, would do it for the dope. She would be out there in the street messed up. You have to be aware and know what's going on out there. And I really wanted to help her, but you can't help somebody that don't want to be helped. And
with the fear of what's
when
going on.
I saw the picture of her dead body, that is reality. Every time you get in the car, because there ain't nothing you can do.
as much as my respect as I would give the person who pays $200,000 in taxes every year. I can't separate myself and say that one is better than the other. You take an oath to protect all the people all the time, not some of the people all the time.